What's up, guys? Here are my predictions for UFC Vegas 15 happening this Saturday. The card took a bit of a hit with the main event falling off. Curtis Blaydes tested positive for COVID-19. Therefore, his fight with Derek Lewis is going to be postponed, probably in December. So now the main event is Anthony Smith versus Devin Clark. Smith seems to be the fighter that the UFC always goes to put as the main event whenever it falls apart a bit. But the card is very short. There's 10 fights on the entire card, 4 in the prelims, 6 on the main card, but there are a few very interesting matchups. Sue versus Malcolm Gordon is going to be an exciting striking match. Both guys have tremendous power, very good precision, and ultimately probably is going to be the most exciting fight of the entire night. Jonathan Pierce versus Kai Kamaka is a good fight. Kamaka is a prospect that everybody should look out for. His grappling's a little bit suspect, but his striking is absolutely out of this world. Everybody loves Spike Carlisle, and Rachel Ostovich and Norma Dumont are always fun to have on any card. But we are going to start with Miguel Baeza versus Takashi Sato. This is probably the overall best fight on the card. Miguel is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist, but has shown great levels of striking in his UFC career so far, getting a notable knockout over the veteran Matt Brown with a check left hook moving backwards. And Takashi Sato's whole game revolves around that southpaw left hand, as well as his constant movement. He's always in constant motion. Very good first back steps, very good half front steps into the left hand, and many feints to go with it, and I think the feints are going to be a bit of a problem for Miguel to feel out. So orthodox versus southpaw, usually that tends to be a battle of who has the better power hand because they're lined up for each other, but in this fight, it's going to be even more important given that they always go for that punch. Miguel is very right-handed heavy for an orthodox fighter. Takashi Sato is very left-handed heavy for a southpaw fighter. They always look for that big power shot, overhand or straight. Sato's more fluid with the striking, but Miguel seems to be a little bit more explosive. Miguel also has really good leg kicks that can take away some of the movement from Takashi's wide stance. Also, due to the wide stance, Miguel can go in for that single leg takedown, try to take it to the ground, and go through the path of least resistance. Takashi Sato is a striker for the most part. He's a good counter puncher, specifically good moving forward to connect with that precise left straight. But there's a difference with their defense. Him and Sato both rely on their movement to move away from punches, but Miguel at least puts up a guard. Sato never puts up a guard. His hands are always down moving back. And you saw a big weakness to him was when he fought Bilal Muhammad, who was also an orthodox fighter. Sato could not see the follow-up left hand after Muhammad went forward for his right. So Bilal Muhammad would blitz him down, right straight, and then left hook. Sato will pull back and move away from the right straight, but the left hook always went over his shoulder and connected. That is a huge weapon for Miguel to also implement against Sato. It's a punch that Sato just cannot see due to the way he moves, right? He leans away and turns his shoulder to the right hand. Because of that, he cannot see what comes over that shoulder, which is always going to be the left hook. That is a huge weapon for Miguel, who knocked out Matt Brown with a left hook to connect on Takashi Sato, but this time moving forward. I think the striking overall will be a little bit competitive, but I do see opportunities for Miguel to land shots on Sato compared to Sato landing on Miguel. The way Sato can land on Miguel is the same way Miguel can land on Sato. Everything Sato can really do to take advantage of the fight is exactly what Miguel can do as well. But Miguel has more weapons and more opportunities, more windows to land even more shots that Sato doesn't normally go to. So due to this, I'm going to go with Miguel Baeza, and I'm going to go by a third round TKO, probably a decision win. I think it's going to be a very good fight. And then we go to the main event, Anthony Smith versus Devin Clark. Wrestler versus striker / Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Smith is just overall the better striker, by far. But Clark is powerful and explosive. He's very fast for a light heavyweight. It all stems from his wrestling. He's able to explode from his stance and shockingly land these shots on his opponents, even though he's usually the guy who has a striking disadvantage in his fights. But due to the explosion, he's able to get in on them a little bit too quickly. Smith, though, is really good with his movement, though. He's really good at moving back, especially for the first few rounds. After that, he starts to gas out a bit. He has a good front kick, which he can get taken down because of, but also with that, he has a really good jab to keep distance. Land that right hand right after the jab. He's really good at putting together the 1-2 as well as the 1-2-3. The left hook moving away is a huge weapon for him against Devin Clark, because Clark is going to look to counter with his hands or go under for the takedown. That fadeaway left hook is going to be key for Anthony Smith to keep Devin Clark honest the entire time and keep him in range the entire time. If he throws in the 1-2 and then tries to disengage from there, Clark is going to be on his hips, 100%. But here's where my prediction kind of comes into this. Even if Devin Clark takes down Smith, Smith has the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to really threaten Clark on the ground. So even Clark's biggest strengths, there are so many obstacles for him to get through, where it's not the same for Anthony Smith on the feet. So think about it theoretically and logically, you would have to say Anthony Smith has the advantage in this fight. He's more well-rounded, he's vastly more experienced. They both don't have the greatest chins, but Anthony Smith is always going to be in there. He has great heart. So ultimately, I'm going to go with Anthony Smith, and I'm going to go by a second round submission due to a guillotine choke. I think he's going to hurt Devin Clark a few times in the fight. I do see Clark shooting for a takedown and getting caught with a guillotine. And then let's look at the odds here. I don't think Kai Kamaka should be that big of a favorite over Jonathan Pierce. He's a 3-1 favorite. Even though Pierce seems to be the better grappler if it goes to the ground, Kamaka's a hard guy to take down sometimes, but if he does get taken down, Pierce probably has the clear-cut advantage in that fight. I do think Kamaka is going to win the fight, but 3-1 may be a little bit too much. And I kind of agree with everything else here. I'm pretty surprised that the betting odds have it so fair this time. The last few cards, man, we had underdogs winning left and right, and some of them were extremely strange, the way they put the odds together. So I hope you guys enjoyed the predictions. If you did, make sure to thumbs up. If you enjoyed my content, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.